I wanted to just show you buyers for different listings that we have that are unsold, okay? This is a restaurant that we have agent, buyer, buyer, and then a non-disclosure. So there's ratios that are here. We get X amount of agents, X amount of buyers before we get one non-disclosure agreement that's actually signed. Here, I'll show you a non-disclosure. We have a non-disclosure agreement for the buyers that come forward. This is one of our listings. It's a numbers game in regards to how many we have to go through before it actually gets sold. This is a dry cleaner. You can see agent, buyer, buyer. Here's proof of funds, for example. Somebody sent us that they have the cash. But you can see how many we have to actually go through, and this is unsold. The other thing is here, cleaners that we have. We have one prospective buyer. The seller scared them off, held to a high price, and they went away. So we have agent, buyer. We have all these buyers. So the agent is doing his job. The marketing is doing its job. We're spending the right money, but the owner scared away the client that we had. So this is still unsold. This is a roofing company. We had a lot of inquiries, but she won't come off of her $2.3 million asking price. She originally started at $3.2 million. The business is worth about $600,000 or $700,000, but she won't lower it. So here we are for, you can see these go all the way back. Last year, we've been dealing with these prospects. Great business, but she won't lower the price. Actually, instead of saying lower the price, she won't correct the price, okay? Because if the price was correct, one of these people would have come forward. You can see here, agent. These are all the BBF agents. And then buyer. These are my buyers. Buyer. And then we have buyers on Excel spreadsheets. We have all kinds of buyers that we're dealing with, but no contract. So here we are, not only as listing agents, but also as the seller. The seller is not getting any closer to actually getting it sold. Now, I can't sell something that a seller won't let me sell. So as long as she's asking for, 3 times more than what the business is worth, it's never going to sell. We go into a roofing business, then we go to a painting business, agent, buyer. Okay, we save everything. Each one of these is a conversation. It's hours and hours of time talking to people and hasn't sold. So here, agent, buyer. We have all these prospects. The agent's doing his job. The ads are doing their job. We hit objections. Either there's no tax return, the business isn't making enough money, or it's negative cash flow, it's an unreasonable owner, it's a bad location, the equipment is old, the tax returns don't get a SBA loan. There's a million reasons why businesses don't sell. Maybe the buyer doesn't qualify with the landlord doesn't like that the buyer had some sort of a past, a legal, criminal maybe, or credit issue. There's a million reasons why sales don't happen. So when this particular sale here at $750, he was also worth about $500. So we had agents. The agents inquired about our listing, the networking, the co-brokering, offering to share a commission. That all was satisfactory to the agents. They had prospects of their own. They agreed to work for the half or the minimum fee that we were sharing with them. So that worked. The listing worked. But then we had buyer, all these different people, buyers, and it's still unsold. Here, we had agent, buyer, right? We have a smoothie business, agent. We have a non-disclosure. You can just see the amount of work and time that's involved, not only in the finding of the listings. It's hard to find an owner that actually wants to sell, has a good product to sell, has positive cash flow, has tax returns, is reasonably priced, is motivated to get it done in a reasonable period of time. The landlord, once we get our inventory, which is what this is our inventory of what we're trying to sell, then we have to deal with the unreasonable buyers and the agents that have other opportunities. There's 2,500 active listings. So this is a little bit of the behind the scenes of business brokerage that you guys don't see. But I just wanted to show you the volume of what we go through, and these are unsold. So this is all work that we've done for free that I may never get paid for. And only 20% of the listings actually sell. So in theory, I have to list 5 businesses to sell one. So I have to do this volume of work to get one buyer and one seller to agree to actually allow a transaction to happen, either with another agent or and about 90% of the deals are with other agents. Buyer, nope, can't get that one sold. This one actually is under contract. Agent, buyer. See how many times we have to talk to buyers? So when we tell you we have somebody interested, and when a seller says, oh, okay, we have somebody interested, it's been only 1 or 2 days, couple of days, you did a great job, let's raise the price. It's like, oh man, you don't understand. Look at all these prospects that we have because we're top agents and we spend the right marketing and we know what we're doing. But you don't raise the price because it's still not sold, and it doesn't make it more valuable just because somebody called that may have been looking for that particular industry. And here we have agent, sign non-disclosure. I have non-disclosures already signed on your listing, but no one's come forward. You may have this volume of work. For example, this is only a $32,000 he wanted 40. We're in the contract right now at 35. But imagine this amount of work and the time that it's going to take to get all this done for you. I mean, calendar time, and the hours, Frank's time, my team's time, to service all of this. And then, so we have to first fill up your bucket over here of opportunities. And then for an owner to say, oh, now it's worth more money. Well, no, it's not worth more money. It hasn't sold, and it doesn't make it more valuable because more people inquired about it. If more people were making offers and you had multiple offers, cash offers, serious offers with money and escrow and contracts, and the landlord already approved them, and and it's the right price for the seller. If everything checks out, if you have multiple of those, then I would say, okay, yeah, maybe it's time to consider raising the price. But here, for example, agent. Look how many buyer. This is all for one air conditioning business that we're working with, and it's still unsold. But each one of these people needed the financials. They all needed the phone call, a follow-up phone call, conference calls, showings, meetings. This is the work that we do here. This is all about, and when we have a folder, that means there's multiple things in that folder, so we had to collect and save and do, and it's a full-time job, obviously. Here, sign non-disclosure agreements. All of this was for one air conditioning company that has not sold. So at the moment, my team and I, we are working for free, which makes me feel bad. And we've done all of this work, hundreds of hours worth of work, successful. All these non-disclosures. Non-disclosures are what the buyers sign when they're interested. All of these hasn't sold. Okay? So that's some of what we deal with as agents. Here I have a tire liquidating company in Miami. Meeting, agent, buyer, non-disclosure, but you can see it's still unsold. All of this goes into selling 1 out of 5. So when you have a $12,000 minimum commission, it has to pay for not only the retail ads, it has to pay for the team, it has to pay for all of the work that we're doing that we never get paid for. That's what's averaged in there. And that's the life of a business broker. I just wanted to share that with you. So just because we got a first phone call does not mean that it's sold, okay? Because if that was true, this one would have sold, and this one would have sold, and I'm not in control over it. As a listing agent, I'm not in control over the financials, the tax returns, the landlord, the location, the asking price, the down payment, the personality of the owner, the motivation of the owner, the staff staying or not staying, the age of the equipment, the condition of the equipment, valuation the owner is putting on the equipment. All of that factors into, in addition, then you have 2,500 competitors, and how many other opportunities are there. So for example, this particular listing for a cleaning business for $120,000, all of these people agreed not to make the purchase, because that $120,000, the community has said, is more than other opportunities, right? So if it's not other opportunities, maybe they'll go build their own business for less than $120,000. Maybe they'll lease their own location, smaller location, or sublease with somebody and do it for what they consider to be, a faster ROI, return on investment, a faster break-even point. But for whatever reason, this listing, the location, the staff, the team, the pricing, competition, maybe this dry cleaner has a lot of competition. Maybe somebody just moved in right next door and now they want to sell. Well, it's unsellable and the owner won't lower the price to make it more attractive. So there's not enough profit. They want too much money. There's competition. There's other listings. It's all of this baked into why these things don't sell. So the very last thing you want to do is raise listing prices. We valued your particular listing properly. We did our homework. We know what they should sell for or might sell for. There's no guarantee, but we don't want to go through all of this and never sell the business years from now while you're maybe negative cash flow or even positive cash flow. If you need to sell, you need to sell. You move on, you go on to something else. But each one of these people takes time of the owner, takes time of the team. It's document exchanges, it's proof of funds, it's non-disclosures, it's meetings, it's conference calls, it's showings. How many of these do you want to go through and not make any more than what the market has already proven that it's going to pay based on the solds, the valuation of the solds that we do? Residential sales, selling a house is a lot easier than selling a business. When you want to sell a $500,000 house, it's pretty easy to prove that it's worth a $500,000 because you look at the previous 6 months, everyone understands a new roof or carpet. A lot of owners do not understand tax returns, the financials, the adjusted net, how to compare businesses. That's why the experts like myself do this for you. So I do not recommend raising prices at all. If we have a valuation, that is the valuation. Anything above that, you're just going to have double, triple, quadruple the time, and still the buyers aren't going to want to pay any more than what you were originally maybe valued at. I hope this helps. I just wanted to share with you what goes on behind the scenes because we know the ratios and the percentages of success, what it takes to actually make it successful. And if you have a negative cash flow situation, you have to figure every 30 days that you try this, what is your debt service to have another X amount of people spin your wheels, and you're still only worth what you're worth prior to trying to get more from them. All right. Any questions, let me know. Hope this helped and educated. Thank you. Bye-bye.